Tithing, the most difficult subject to understand in all the Bible. I couldn't afford to pay my tithes at one time, but I did it anyways. This is going to be the most life-changing message in the world. We're going to talk about that right now. Welcome back, Greatness in the Deep. Before I go any further, I want to remind you, if you can subscribe to the channel and also hit the like button, share this video and leave a comment. Let's get into this right now. Tithing. It seems that tithing is the most difficult subject in all the Bible to understand. Let's get into a deeper a deeper conversation about it, though. A deeper study of tithing. Tithing actually goes before the law. A lot of scholars, when they talk about tithing, they say that tithing actually was in the garden because it was an offering that God demanded. What did he demand Adam? He told Adam, everything in the garden that you could have, he said, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, he said, you will not touch it or you will not eat of it. He demanded him. So to some degree, these scholars have some truth. It was a demand from God, and Adam gave it to God out of God's demand. And if we go a little bit further in the book of Genesis, we can see that Abraham in Genesis was recorded as to giving the tithe to Melchizedek. Now, this wasn't something that was demanded of Abraham at the time, but this is something that Abraham got or caught out of revelation. And that's why this is so hard to get, because when we talk about tithing and giving, it's more about revelation, revealing, than it is about 1 + 1 = 2, or if you want to call it legalistic, because there's a lot of legalistic teachers out there. They legalize everything. They're very legalistic about everything. If it's not so clear and says, thou shalt tithe, they won't tithe. But this is more about relationship, your tithing. So everything that has to do with the New Testament today is actually, it has to do with your relationship with God. And believe it or not, tithing has gotten a little bit more stricter in the New Testament than it did in the Old Testament. Why do I say that? Well, things have got more stricter in general. The reason why I say that is because when Jesus told the people, he reminded them about the law and said, you cannot commit adultery with a woman. He said, but I say that you can't even look at a woman the wrong way, in an inappropriate way. Because if you look at her the wrong way, he says that you're committing adultery already in your heart. Already in your heart. So it says those things got a little bit more stricter in the New Testament because it has to do with your relationship. Because God's not really interested in money and dollar bills, but he's more interested in what? In your heart. So where your heart is where your treasure is. So when it comes to tithing, there is no argument. Why is there no argument? Because it's all relationship. It's all relational and revelation. There's no argument when it comes to those things. Now, if you want to get real legalistic and start pulling things out, I mean, okay. But when it comes to your relationship with God, nobody can argue with it. And tithing and giving has so much to do with your walk with God. So much to do. Now, what about the people that did not give their all? There's people that didn't give their all in the New Testament. It was when Jesus demanded of who? Or he didn't demand, but he He told the rich young ruler, if you want to be perfect and if you want to follow after me, what did he say? He said, and sell everything that you have and come follow me. Give it to the poor and come follow me. That rich young man could not do it because he had great possessions. He was rich. He had a lot of things. He was stuck to his things. So God revealed his heart. He revealed his heart to him, and he went away sorrowful. And then what does the book of Acts talk about when it comes to giving your all? There's an example of Ananias and Sapphira. They sold their possession, they sold land, and they had money, and they made it look like they were giving their all to God, but they only gave a portion of it. And because of that, because they were trying to be deceitful, they were dead. They were done with. God's judgment came upon them. But there are others in the New Testament that Jesus puts special emphasis on for giving their all. Not for giving a portion, but for giving their all. And that was what? That was the lad, the little boy. When he gave his lunch, he gave all of his lunch, not a portion. And what happened when he gave his all? When he gave his all, Jesus was able to take it and bless it and feed the 5,000. He didn't just feed the 5,000, but there was so much that every disciple had a basket full to take home. The boy gave his all, fed the people, and the ministry was able to survive later with it. That's a revelation itself. Also, Jesus put special emphasis on a little old lady, the widow. When she gave those 2 mites, she gave the 2 mites, and everybody was given a portion. And in those days, they took the money and they threw it in the offering plate, and they made it sound loud. It was probably 10% they were given. But because that little widow gave everything she had, which was just the 2 mites, it revealed where her heart was. It was something that was valuable because it was all she had, but she gave it away to God's kingdom. And Jesus said she gave more than the rich ones. Even though it was more in number, she had greater value in what she gave. So Jesus said she gave more. So it's not necessarily about the amount that you give, but it's about giving your all. Where's your heart? So when it comes to tithe paying and people say you shouldn't do it, I question sometimes, where's your heart? Where's your heart at? How deep is your walk with God? How deep is it? So when people say, hey, you don't need to pay tithes. There was a moment in my life where I couldn't even pay tithes. But because I was so close to God, it didn't matter whether I could afford it or not. I made ways so that I can afford it. I went out and did more just so that I could pay tithes. Before I paid my rent, before I paid my bills, before I bought food for my house, I made sure, I said, God, you're first. I'm going to give my all. And it was the tithe. I started with the tithe. I gave it. It was the beginning of things for me. I gave it even when I couldn't afford it. And God blessed me, and God always provided for me and my family. So I guess the question is, where are you when it comes to giving, when it comes to the tithe? Where's your walk with God? They say a person that doesn't give anything doesn't get anything. I heard somebody say, we don't give to get, but I beg to differ with them today. We give to get, to give again in the kingdom. We don't give just to get selfishly. We give to get so we can give back again. And this is the way it works. This is the ebb and flow. It's back and forth it comes. And that's okay. That's the way God designed it. Go by God's design. Start with your tithe. Start with your tithe and your relationship with God. If you only tithe and have no relationship, I can't help you. But if you're tithing and you have a relationship with God, let God do his thing in your life. Let this be the beginning of blessing and for God to take you somewhere that you never even dreamed, because God wants to bless you. God wants to give you more than what you have. But it all starts with your what? Your relationship with him. God bless you all. I love you all. I'll see you next time. And remember, please subscribe, hit the like button, share the video. Let's spread the love, spread the seed, and make sure to leave a comment. God bless you all. See you next time.